What is up, guys? Technicals Tinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. So I vlog every day about my 3D print startup sort of thing. I own a business that has nothing to do with 3D printing, but I got interested in the process and I thought maybe I can make some money out of it. So I've been vlogging every day. Today's episode, a little bit different. Someone had a very great suggestion in one of the videos about well, the printers that I have. Would I buy them again? Maybe a little bit about them, my experience with them. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Let me know if you like this video, if you like me breaking format like this. It's not that breaky formatty, but it is kind of a little bit, and I know that all my subscribers thus far have been because of a certain daily vlog style format. So I'm a little funny about breaking it because, you know, that's not what you came here to see. So let me know what you think in the comments. So all I'm gonna do is go over my printers and say whether or not I would buy them again and kind of their quirks and things like that. I've got several thousand hours on each of them. I know a lot of people have way more than that, way more than I ever could. But, you know, it's some experience with them, the back and forth, and, you know, maybe this helps someone out if they're considering buying one of these types of printers, brands of printers, whatever, so on and so forth. All right, so first and foremost, the Ender 3. I think this is the one that a lot of people start with. I got this one about a year ago is when I first got it. I actually bought that printer and it arrived the day before I went on vacation. I go on vacation every year in January. And so I kind of sat there, and when I put it back together, it started printing. And if you've had an Ender 3 or any printer similar to that, it's like a $100 holler type printer. It was pretty amazing. I actually, when I first got it put together and started printing things, I was like, this is pretty cool. But ultimately, I think most people, it leaves them unsatisfied. And I think a lot of people maybe get turned off by printers like the Ender 3 because it's just the leveling and the slowness and stuff. And people get it and they're like, yeah, this is cool and everything, but like, it's really kind of a pain in the ass. And so, would I get an Ender 3 again? No. Would I recommend an Ender 3 as a first printer for someone? Absolutely not. Ultimately, I am grateful that it got me into the process. All right, so the next printers, I have 4 of them. It's a Anycubic Kobra 2 Max. Got these printers because they're big, and if you know anything about 3D printers, almost every 3D printer that comes out is like generally the same size. It's like usually like a 250 millimeter square build plate by roughly 250 high. Yeah, some go 350, some are a little bit smaller, A1 mini type thing, but most of them are in that range. The Kobra 2 Max is a 420 by 420 by 500, if I remember correctly. Same thing with the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max. It's a very large printer and it goes really fast, and that's why I got it, because I wanted to be able to print big things. And so it's cheap. It was cheap when I got it, like $500-600 when I got it, and I consider that cheap for what you get out of it. And so that's really the workhorse that I started selling 3D prints with, and it allowed me flexibility. If you've been with me for a while, I talk about the sort of the business aspect of this. 3D printing has virtually no barriers to entry. Any idiot can buy a 3D printer, obviously, and start selling things on Etsy. And so because most printers are that 250 size, having something like a Kobra 2 Max or any other large format printer allows you to print things that other people couldn't. So like, you know, cosplay helmets or big props or big pieces of art, you're gonna be able to do that. Other people aren't, so that gives you an advantage. Now that's kind of a moot point now because anybody can get one of these, and printers, you know, there's a lot more offerings out there that have these large format printers. Would I get it again? Yeah, I think I would. Even with all the problems, and if you've been following my channel, you know, I've had lots of problems out of my Kobra 2 Maxes, but generally they do perform. You have to keep up with them, you have to tune them in, you have to know their quirks, but it's such a cheap printer, especially at this point. You can get a refurb for one of these for like $300 something. And again, I consider that pretty cheap for a 400 bed slinger from a larger name company, and they generally work. Now, you might have seen this. Obviously, things like this happen because, you know, they're 3D printers. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a very fine tolerances on these things. You have to keep up with them. And me, I'm a pretty lazy guy. Sometimes I don't keep up with them, so things like that happen. But would I buy a Kobra 2 Max again? Absolutely. You know, because of the price point, the performance, you know, and that was kind of like one of the things that I liked about it is because it was so cheap. If it got to the point where it was just down and out, completely exploded, you just buy another one. It's not like an Orange Storm Giga where you could just go out and buy another one. These things, you know, Orange Storm Giga is $2,500. Prusa XL, 5,000 bucks. Some of these more commercial style printers, super duper expensive. You have to keep up with them to keep them running because you can't just buy another one just for spare parts. So Kobra 2 Max, thumbs up. Next, Sovol SV08. Sovol SV08, Voron clone machine type thing. Sovol took the open sourciness of Voron, as far as I understand it, and slapped their logo on it and sold it themselves. So it's a 350Q Core XY machine. It's really, really fast. It's really, really stable. It can put out some decently high quality prints really fast. Would I get it again? Absolutely not. And that's not because I've had any real problems with it. It's because I know that when I do have problems with it, it's gonna be a real pain to fix. Because I've seen people saying like, you need this and this and this and this and this to make it really shine. And I haven't really done any of those because it does what I need it to do. I don't need it, these sort of fine things based on the products that I'm printing. Additionally, it was really kind of the turning point when someone said, oh, you should tighten your belts. And so things like on a Kobra 2 Max, you have these little knobs here, you turn them, you tighten the belts. That's it. On this, you have to take the gantry apart, undo all the belts, and then move them 1, 2, 3 notches, whatever, in there, and serpentine that thing back into wherever it goes. And I'm looking at this and thinking like, this is just for a belt adjustment. Like, I'm much less likely to adjust the belts on this thing because of it, and much more likely to just use another printer. So performance has been fine. The setup, the putting it together was fine. The price point was great. I got it on sale. It was like $500. So for a 350 Core XY, it only prints one color. I don't know, people, you can work in tool changers and stuff, but that's too much effort for what you get out of it. I still wouldn't get it. That 500 bucks is much better spent on something else. And that leads to the Bambus. So again, my biggest gripe with Bambu, and always has been, is that the size. 250 is like, that's big to a lot of people. That's not big to me. That's big. That's big. That's regular size. It's medium. So the performance, fantastic. The quirkiness, haven't really had too many things. I mean, sure, every printer has its quirks. Here on the A1, you know, I had to, its little discharge chute hangs sometimes. Sometimes it thinks things are tangled and it'll stop and purge every so often. Over here on the P1P, the discharge chute is a dumb location out of the back. I don't like that. But really, I'm looking for stuff to complain about. It's really a fine machine. You know, I did have problems with the extruder stopping several times, but that seems filament dependent. You know, it's been said that they're like the Apple and everyone else is like BlackBerry, like they're on the cutting edge. And there's a lot of companies that are catching up. They're releasing their version of these, you know, high performing, ready to run out of the box Core XY machines. So it remains to be seen if they'll remain the king. But overall, they've sold a shitload of printers in a very short amount of time. So they got a lot of money for R&D. And I'm anxious to see what they come up with. It makes it very easy to start. You're gonna get a high quality print right out of the gate. These things are almost meant for and beg for multicolor, multi-material printing. So what do you think I'm gonna say? You think I'm gonna say don't buy a Bambu? It's by far and away the one I'd recommend that anybody get. Because an A1 combo, I wouldn't get an A1 mini, it's not big enough. An A1 combo with the AMS Lite, like 500 I think, like all in. So yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. For such a high-performing machine, ready to run, runs right out of the box. Again, this is just my amateur opinion. Bambu all the way. I'd certainly recommend an A1 combo kit all day long. Finally, the Orange Storm Giga, the big one from Elegoo. You know, you have to wait for a while to get one of these. It's obviously a very large printer. Not everyone's gonna have the space for this. Not everyone's gonna have the power infrastructure for this. It has its own dedicated 20 amp circuit and it needs it. So if you don't have that, you're gonna have to figure out some things before you go and buy one of these. Maybe they'll fix that in the future, I don't know. It's a lot of printer. It's a big girl. It's almost scary sometimes when I set things to print because it's eating so much filament. If it does screw up, I know that, you know, that's what, 40 bucks down the drain, 60 bucks down the drain, etc., just in filament. And so, would I recommend this? No, absolutely not. But again, because I'm doing this for like the money motive, it's a barrier to entry. There is no printer, well, I mean, aside from some of the Tronxies and things like that, there's really no mainstream performing printer at this size, 800 by 800. And so that's another barrier that I can set up. Other things I can print that no one else can. You can put IDEX on it, or multiple extruders, and kind of start churning things out. Although I think you'd probably be better served doing that on a Bambu or Prusa's or something like that. So would I buy this again? Absolutely. It's been a blast learning on it, and just knowing I have the ability to print things like car parts or giant wall trophies or things like that. Absolutely. $2,500 for a machine that makes money is not a lot. It really isn't, especially for what some of these things could sell for. Now, I haven't really sold much, but again, you could. If you have the idea, then it's there. These machines, you're looking at like $1,000 for a P1P and an AMS, easy. And so you're gonna have to sell a lot of smaller things and compete with people who all have a same size printer to make that back. So something like this, I think, is probably a better play, again, if you have the right ideas. And so are there any printers that I don't have that I wish I would have gotten or that I'm looking at? Honestly, no. I mean, I don't think I would have bought the Sovol. I got that kind of, it was on the heels of when I was printing a lot of things for crypto mining. And the Kobras were kind of in this weird place where I was switching things around, and some of them weren't performing really well. And I'm like, I really need something that can churn it out. And so the Sovol looked good because of the price point. It was Core XY, it was stable, kind of fit into one. I didn't have to worry about how far out the beds came because the Kobras are bed slingers. This was all like self-contained, and I was able to print things pretty quickly, very accurately with a fine finish, take them off the plate, throw them in a box, and I'm done. But, kind of looking back, probably would have been better served just getting another Kobra and, using it for parts if need be down the line, or maybe just another Bambu. Some people come in and recommend like rat rig and stuff like that. I really don't see myself getting into those, maybe on like a hobbyist end. Because I do have fun building the machines, no doubt. I do like to build stuff a lot. I was a Lego kid, and I was a Lego collector for many years. And I do like to build stuff, but this project is more so about making the sales and less about just tinkering, despite the channel name. So I don't really see myself getting into like a rat rig or a Tronxy or any of those other types of machines that have the ability to be large format for what I aim to do. Again, trying to narrow my focus more so into things that are popular that sell versus just outright big, because of really the shipping costs and what are big things that people really want and are in demand. That aren't served by a big company already. So I wouldn't see myself going into anything like that. I don't see myself going into any of the Prusa machines, even though they're obviously the brand recognition, the longevity, how solid of a company they are, open source and all that kind of stuff. The Prusa XL is an impressive machine, no doubt. I don't like the fact that you're limited to 5 colors though. If they came up with a solution where you could expand to an indefinite amount of colors, or up to 10 or 16 like the Bambus, then yeah, I'd be certainly more interested in it. I do like that it's multiple interchangeable tool heads, to kind of cut down on the print times, because that really sucks with the Bambu, is how long it takes to print, like the character models and things like that. You're talking about multiple days to print those, and I only have really one good Bambu. So committing to one of those, and if something screws up, then it's like, all that time is wasted. It's not like I'm really utilizing that time too much anyway. But the Prusa XL, very impressive, seems faster. Again, 350 by 350. It's bigger, so that's cool, but again, $5 for a machine like that. That's 2 Orange Storm Gigas. That's 2 Orange Storm Gigas for a Prusa XL that's a 350. So I don't see myself going that direction. Their Core 1, very impressive, but it seems like they're reacting. It seems like they're playing catch up to Bambu, and I'm of the opinion you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't see if something comes out and just blows everybody away. You shouldn't try to make a copy of that. You should try to make something better. And I know, wait for the comments, Matt. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing with the products that you make. Yeah, I know, but I'm a dum-dum. I'm not a billion-dollar Chinese company, okay? Plus, Prusa has been pushing the market, it seems like, over the past forever since they came out. So it seems to me odd that they would react in that way. It seems like they could say, like, okay, these ready-to-run out-of-the-box Core XY machines seem to be what the market wants. What do people complain about with Bambu? It's not big enough, it wastes too much. Proprietary, or not proprietary materials, but proprietary parts, closed source, things like that. It's like, okay, well, can we improve that? Can we make a big Core XY? Because they're already putting out the Prusa XL for $5,000. If they came out with a 500 by 500 Core XY machine that was similar to Bambu's, that had multi-material support up to 16 colors, and they charged $2,000 for it, I would be first in line, because that's exactly, I think, what I would be looking for. Again, the ability to print what I want at whatever size I want. It would be big, yeah. Most people would probably have a tough time fitting it, but most people would probably have a tough time fitting a Core 1. I mean, I don't think most people are rushing into that product to begin with. I think it's your seasoned veterans that are going into that. So, I don't know. I wouldn't see myself going Prusa. Any of the other brands, I really don't. They all seem the same to me. Anycubic, you know, Elegoo, any of the other ones. I supposedly have a review samples coming in from a couple print companies, so I'm really eager to get my hands on those. One of them is a kind of a innovative design. Again, if that goes through, if it actually plays out and they do send it, I don't know. But if they do, I'm very eager to see that and see how that performs. It's one of the ones that runs off it's a circle with the 3 things. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. So whether they send that or not, I don't know. Hopefully so. But I'd be very interested to see how that works out and see how it, and if it would apply to what I'm doing here. So that's my lick on whether or not I would get the printers that I currently have. My thoughts on them so far. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you run any of these printers, the same ones that I run? And what's your take on it? Would you get them again, or is there a printer that you would try to get? And do you agree with my logic on some of these things, or do you think I'm a big dum-dum? Let me know either way in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.